Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Am I the A-hole and it's by user kindlyad3762. Am I the a-hole for snapping at a gym trainer who thought I was sneakily watching her and almost slapping her? So, I go to this gym regularly and I mind my business, headphones on, doing my sets. Yesterday, I was doing shoulder exercise on one of the machines and it's placed near this open area where trainers usually do assisted stretches and massages. So basically, if I'm facing forward on the machine, the area is just there in my line of sight. There's this female trainer who was working with her client in that open space doing hands-on stretches. Every time I rest between sets, I just zone out, like completely blank, staring forward, trying to breathe because shoulder day is no joke. But I kept noticing she was looking at me. Not casual looking, more like suspicious looking. I caught her rolling her eyes at me at one point. It started making me self-conscious because the machine literally faces that direction. And I'm not going to twist my neck to stare at a wall just to make her comfortable. After my last set, I was about to leave when she stopped me. She goes, "Can I ask why you keep looking over here while I'm working with my client?" I said, "I'm not. I'm literally just using the shoulder machine." She said it's inappropriate. "You keep staring while I'm doing hands-on work." And that annoyed me because the machine is right there and that's just where it faces. I told her I'm resting between sets. I'm not watching you. She said, "Well, it feels like you are." So I said, "Not everything is about you. I'm zoning out between reps, trust me." She then said, "I don't have to get defensive." I said, "You approached me with an accusation. What do you expect?" She kept implying I was being weird. So I finally said, "I have a boyfriend, I'm gay, you're not on my radar." Maybe that was unnecessary, but I was frustrated. She stepped closer and I instinctively raised my hand because she got in my space. I didn't slap her, but I was heated. Now I'm wondering if I was the a-hole for snapping. I genuinely was not looking at her. The machine literally faces that area and I'm not about to turn my whole body just to avoid existing. So, am I the a-hole? Well, in my opinion, no, you weren't the a-hole. Maybe this trainer's also been hanging out too much on TikTok. But no, I don't think you were the a-hole for snapping. I mean, she started with accusations and you were literally just in your zone. Now, could have she been confused and thought you were looking at her? Sure, but once you cleared it out and told her, "No, I'm just doing my thing," she should have left it at that. Where it got weird is that she entered your space. You didn't invite her in and she just stepped up to you and you reacted. You didn't do anything because she wasn't dangerous apparently, but it was instinctive. The good thing is that nothing happened or this would be a completely different story right now. Anyways, OP, as to what to do next, if I were you, I would go talk to management and say, "Hey, this happened, just letting you know in case anything comes up." And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out the community comments. Cthulhu LaRue says, "Not the a-hole. You're at the gym. People will look. Hell, there are mirrors all over the place. Even if you're not staring directly at her, you'll probably still have her in your line of sight somewhere. If she doesn't want to be looked at, she should stay home or train people at her own gym. Tell the employees that she is harassing you." Harvey Snakes says, "She was being very aggressive before you became defensive. Depending on your local laws, aggressively stepping into someone else's personal space can be seen as a threat to do harm and can be illegal. But unfortunately, that would boil down to your word against hers. Your reaction of raising your hand might not have been the best, since pushing her back and not hitting her would have been the appropriate, proportionate response in that situation, and self-defense is limited to a proportionate response to be justifiable, not the a-hole." Authentic333 says, "Nah, as a woman that is very aware of her surroundings, it doesn't sound like you did anything wrong. I honestly hate how some of the machines in gyms are set up, like the one where you work your inner and outer thighs, so you're sitting and spreading your legs wide apart while in front of you is another machine where the person is facing you doing a different exercise. All way too close." McCabe99 says, "I think the bigger issue is they are doing massages in an open gym floor. If she's worried about her or her client's privacy, they should be conducting such treatments in a private room. Extremely odd setup. Not the a-hole OP. Anyone who trains in the gym regularly would understand zoning out between sets. Social media has made some people think they are constantly the main character in a show, and it's becoming insufferable. And Halikus Zion says, simply report the interaction to the gym management and that she made you very uncomfortable. These trainers are never employed directly by the gym and have simply come to an arrangement to conduct their business in the space, and they will take a very dim view on these people harassing regular members. OP's Edit. Hi, this is my first time posting something this personal here, and honestly, my boyfriend suggested I ask for outside opinions because I was overthinking it. For the people asking, I'm 25, male, and gay. The trainer is a woman. I'm not sure about her exact age, but she looks late 30s to early 40s. No shade at all, just answering the question. Some comments asked why I kept looking in their direction if I noticed her rolling her eyes. It's because they were literally 5 to 6 steps in front of the shoulder machine I was using. The machine faces that open area where they do stretches and massages. So when I rest between sets and zone out, I'm actually facing that direction. When I zone out, I'm not actively staring at someone. I literally look at a blank space or just whatever is in front of me while trying to breathe. That area just happens to be in my line of sight. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's genuinely how I work out. This is also why I get anxious in gym spaces, especially since I just signed up at this new gym and I don't really know anyone there. The only person I kinda know is another female trainer named Oris who helped me sign my contract. She definitely knows I'm gay because of how we were bantering during sign-up. She was really friendly. I'm planning to talk to Oris about what happened and possibly bring it up to management like some of you suggested, since I'm new there and don't want any weird tension. Thank you to everyone who gave actual advice. I'll update once I talk to management and see what they say. I have read all your comments and thank you to everyone who said not the a-hole. I appreciate the reassurance because I was honestly spiraling after it happened. For those asking why I raised my hand, she approached me and confronted me. She stepped into my space while accusing me. What was I supposed to do? Just stay quiet about it? Of course not. All my life I have been the quiet one. I let things slide, I avoid conflict, and now that I am learning to stand my ground and actually speak up for myself, suddenly I'm the bad guy for defending myself? She took her time to walk up to me and accused me of being inappropriate. She did not ask neutrally. She did not clarify politely. She accused me. That already crossed a boundary. Then she stepped closer while we were arguing. I reacted instinctively because I felt cornered. And for those who keep saying I should not hit a woman, no. Just no. This is not about gender. This is about someone confronting and disrespecting me when I did nothing wrong. I did not touch her. I did not hit her. But do not twist this into some narrative where I am automatically wrong because she is a woman. Respect goes both ways. Boundaries go both ways. I am going to talk to management later today and handle this properly. I just needed to clarify that defending myself does not automatically make me the villain. Alright, well, the majority of the community agreed OP was not the a-hole, and he clarified some things there at the end. So now, let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. Sorry for the late update. What happened next was honestly such a mess. I still went to the gym because I'm not about to stop my routine over this. When I walked into the locker room and was putting my stuff away, one of the male trainers walked behind me, and I swear I heard him say, "Perv," in a way that sounded like he tried to cover it with a cough. I don't even know if it was about me because the locker room was full of people showering and getting ready, but with everything that happened, of course, it got into my head. I ignored it and continued my workout. While working out, I felt like people were looking at me. I don't know if I was just paranoid because of the issue or if they actually were, but I kept remembering what my friends told me, that no one in the gym cares. Everyone is too busy focusing on themselves. So I pushed through and finished my workout. 2 hours. After that, I went to the front desk and asked for Oris, like you guys suggested. I told her everything. She listened and was very calm. Then she said, "Don't worry, I already know." Rose reported it to management. Honestly, I wasn't shocked. I knew she would. Oris told me she believes me and went to get the manager. Apparently, the manager was already talking to Rose. They asked me to come into the office so we could talk privately. In the office, Rose kept insisting I was staring and that I was being inappropriate. She straight up called me a pervert. I explained again that I was already using the machine before she and her client positioned themselves in front of me. I said I had been there for 10 minutes before they even started stretching there. She kept giving me intimidating looks and then pointed at me and said, "Just admit you liked what you saw, us stretching our legs. Of course you would like it." I literally laughed, like actually laughed. I looked at Ori's and even she was smiling because it was getting ridiculous. I said, "This is honestly insane. I already told you I'm gay, for the love of God. You are not my type, of never have been." I wasn't interested. I was not entertained. I was trying to survive shoulder day. She kept going on, trying to justify that I was a pervert. The manager was quiet, probably trying to assess everything. Then the manager asked Rose, "Why didn't you choose another area?" It wasn't busy that day. Rose said she didn't like the other areas because they were dim and the spot she chose had better lighting and a mirror. I mean, sure, some areas are dimmer, but that's not even the point. Then Rose said something that honestly shocked me. She asked, "How can you prove you're gay?" Me and Ori's just looked at each other like, is this really happening? I pulled out my phone and showed her a picture of me and my boyfriend, him kissing my cheek. I said, "This enough for you?" She said that could just be my friend. At that point, I just wanted it over with. I showed her another photo of me and my boyfriend in bed, just hugging, clearly intimate but not inappropriate. I said, "How about this?" She looked stunned. Then suddenly she started crying, face down on the table. I genuinely did not understand what was happening anymore. She said, "I'm just wondering why you would look at us." I said, "If you're that worried about people possibly glancing in your direction in a public gym, maybe train in a private studio. You can't control where other people's eyes rest when they're literally using equipment in front of you." I stood up and told the manager, "I think we're done here." Thanked her for her time. Ori's walked me out. Afterwards, Ori's told me this apparently isn't the first time Rose has confronted people like this. Man, woman, anyone. If she feels like someone looked in her direction, she takes it personally. Apparently, the manager can't just kick her out because they're friends. So yeah, that's where we're at. I honestly feel exhausted, but at least I stood up for myself. Well, Opie, hopefully Rose is not gonna make any more issues for you because it's all been cleared out now. So you just keep focusing on your workout, and you know that if anything goes wrong, the manager should have your back, and Ori's definitely does. So here's wishing you the best. Take care, Opie, and thanks for sharing. And now let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit True of My Chest, and it's by user throwarray3353335. I never wanted to be a father until I turned 45 this year. Now, I feel my biological clock and want to be a father more than anything, but I'm married to a child-free woman. For my entire life, I never wanted kids. I never wanted to be a father, a stepfather, a foster father, an adoptive father, or any kind of father. Kids and parenting wasn't for me. It was like that my whole life until I turned 45 this year, and it was like a switch flipped. I can feel my biological clock ticking. It's a complete 180 because I want kids and I want to be a father more than anything I have ever wanted, anything in my life. My older brothers and every one of my cousins have at least 2 kids, if not more, and now I want that too. The problem is that I'm married to a child-free woman. I was so happy back when I met her since I was also child-free, and it was so hard to find a woman who doesn't want kids. She doesn't want motherhood in any capacity. She is 43 and will never agree to having kids or being a mother. As recently as this summer, she commented on how glad she was to not have kids. Our relationship will be destroyed when I tell her, but I want this so bad. I know we can't stay married. No one knows I've changed my mind. I haven't told my wife or anyone else. Wow, Opie, this kind of a change is a huge thing, and it seems like you've really thought it through. I mean, you haven't told anybody yet, but you're definitely set on this is what you want, and you know what has to happen. I do feel bad for your wife, but I can't blame anybody in this situation. You now want to be a father, which means you have 2 options. You're honest with your wife, and since she doesn't want to be a mother and you want to be a father, you go your separate ways as best as you can. The other option would be to just repress this, not tell your wife and stay married, which personally I think would be a big mistake because that could just lead to resentment and divorce down the line anyway. But as you said in your post, you know what you have to do. What do you guys think about this tricky situation? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's check out the community comments. Y Pranch says, you should volunteer to be a big brother. So many young boys growing up with single moms who need positive male figures in their life. You have an opportunity to do so much good. Dip your toe into parenting. You can also volunteer at boys' clubs, after-school programs. Lots of underprivileged young boys needing positive models and influences in their lives. I would pursue these options first and see if it changes your feelings. And talk to your wife. She needs the truth and can help you navigate this sudden philosophy change. Transparent 2020 says, sounds like a midlife crisis. Talk to your wife or get counseling. Toot Swigger says, quote, my older brothers and every one of my cousins have at least 2 kids, if not more. Now I want that too. End quote. I'm surprised nobody pointed this out, but are you sure you aren't feeling the way you are because of social pressure? I've witnessed several people changing their mind on being child-free because they see everyone else around them doing it. Is there a way you can find child-free friends through some sort of community? Because let's face it, you've felt child-free for 45 years, dude. I'm sure if you find people in a similar situation as you may remember why you were child-free in the first place. Please don't rush into a big lifestyle choice to fit in, if that's what the reason may be. Well, the community definitely does not like that OP has had this change of heart. That's the way I see it. And the first commenter I think was the closest one, but OP said he wanted to be a father, not a father figure. I'm not knocking on the people that actually do volunteer. I think that's a beautiful thing to do. But it's a different thing. The second commenter sent OP to the therapist, and this third commenter I think was way off by comparing fatherhood to a lifestyle choice. And this actually gets me thinking, what would Reddit's reaction be if it was the other way around? A guy that was married and said he wanted kids, but now didn't want them anymore. But regardless of all of that, we have an update that's 3 years after the original post. So let's move on with that to see how this story ends. I forgot that I had posted here until recently. I did receive some messages asking for an update with regard to my situation and whether or not I spoke to my wife about wanting to be a father. I did work up the courage to tell my ex-wife, and it did not go well. Her feelings had not changed, and I ended up seeking divorce. In hindsight, I realized I should have told her sooner and not tried to hide it. I take responsibility for not telling her sooner. I told her about a month after I posted here. Our divorce was official the following summer. After my divorce, I decided to move to the city. I wanted to have more opportunities to meet people, and it was closer to my family. I ended up meeting my wife when I joined a walking club. We were both on the same page about wanting a serious relationship leading to marriage and children. My wife's first husband had wanted kids, but he changed his mind. Also a possibility. I made sure we were both on the same page and knew what we wanted. I love my wife. She's intelligent, she's kind, and I can't say enough about her. We got married last year after 2 wonderful years together. I am 48 now and my wife is 33 years old, and we purchased a house near both of our families. We had to spend most of our combined savings for the deposit, but it was worth it. My wife and I chose to do an IUI procedure, and she gave birth to our son last month. Before we got married, we both agreed we would be content to have only one child because I know it was quite stressful for my wife when she had the IUI procedure. It was stressful for both of us. My wife is on parental leave right now. She's a solicitor, and we're fortunate that her firm will allow her to work part-time until our son starts attending school, and then she can return to a full-time position. I left my job before my wedding to go to the civil service. There is more stability and a better salary. Most importantly, though, I don't have to work long hours. The only thing I regret is how I handled the situation with my first marriage, not the rest. I'm beyond tired all the time now, but I can't imagine my life any other way. Well, OP, first of all, congratulations to you and to your wife for the birth of your son. And regarding your first marriage, I do feel sorry for your wife. It must have been a horrible piece of news to get, but it wouldn't have been amicable anyway. Your now wife probably went through a very similar thing with her ex-husband. But even considering all that and that now you're beyond tired, I'm happy for you. It sounds like you're happy as well. So here's wishing you 3 the best, OP. Take care and thanks for sharing. And now let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Petty Revenge and it's by user Tiny Cows. My stepmother gets her just desserts after my father passed. My stepmother married my dad 10 years ago when I was 35. From the start, she was awful. She would listen in on every phone call. We didn't find that out for years. She made sure he didn't see his grandkids anymore, just hers. He wasn't allowed to see us either. Plans were made by him and cancelled by her. The worst part is when he was very sick with cancer, she refused point blank to keep us updated on his health. She told us in a group text that we were too mean to her, so we didn't get the information. How were we mean? We didn't send her cards and flowers on Mother's Day. Sometimes he would call me because she forgot to take his phone away from him after he was so ill and couldn't get out of bed to retrieve it. She didn't even tell us he passed for 3 days after. She wanted to make sure we couldn't make the funeral so she could talk badly about us. She wrote the obituary and spelled all his bio family's names wrong and listed all her kids and grandkids as bonus children and left out information like his parents' and siblings' name. She was a horrible person. I knew that there was an insurance policy for me and my siblings to split. It wasn't even that big, but she was so mad that we got anything at all that she refused to give us the policy paperwork or give us his social security number so we could look it up ourselves. She claimed we would just use it to open credit cards, even though the government and credit agencies had his death certificate. She told us we didn't deserve anything at all, and she was mad that he didn't leave the policy to her kids instead. So, having her phone number, address, and email, I signed her up for everything. MLMs, religious calls, window and roof replacements, things like AliExpress offer emails, vacation entries that just sell your name to everyone. My daughter even helped me find new things to sign her up to so we could ramp up the spam. I heard that she was forced to change her phone number because it was so bad. Serves her right. I regret nothing. Oh, there was in fact a policy we did get it, thanks to my mother keeping some old tax returns. I made sure to send my stepmother a screenshot of the policy payout. Willoughby, for a horrible human being like you just described your stepmom to be, that was a good petty revenge. Now maybe you can